Suzuki have always been very fuel efficient vehicles. They sip away at fossil fuels quite nicely, very efficient. They're going one step further now and making all their vehicles hybrid. The Suzuki Vitara is one of the first. Body wise, all that sort of thing, it's all very similar to the previous internal combustion engine version. But we'll take a quick look around anyway and see what she's like. So up front here we've got daytime running lights, fog lights. The headlights here, we've got a nice blue accent in here which lets you know that it's a hybrid model. Come around the side, got nice polished two-tone wheels. They're a little dirty. We've got our two-tone paint. We've got nice black roof and the metallic ice greyish blue that they call this. Interesting colour. We'll come around the back. Got these really cool Vitara tail lights. Have been around for a bit now. They look really nice. And there's our hybrid badge to let you know this one is a little more fuel efficient. Let's jump inside and take a look in here. Okay, in here we've got some very comfortable seats. We've got a nice suede-like fabric. It's not an actual suede, but it's feels very nice, a nice pattern on it. They're very comfortable, little side bolsters on here, very comfortable seats. The steering wheel's quite large. I expected a slightly smaller wheel, but it's yeah, a few cars we've tested recently, like the Peugeot, they've got very small wheels, so it's a bit of a change jumping into this. It's quite a big wheel. But you can clearly see your instruments in here. We've got flappy pedals if you want to put it in manual mode and drive it with that. Indicators are on the left like a European car, which is quite interesting. This is Japanese, but it is, yeah, all good. In the back, so it's not a huge car, but there's certainly enough space in here. We did go on a bit of a road trip yesterday and the kids did complain a bit about lack of footroom, but if you put your shoes on before you get in the car, it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, but there's plenty of room. There's no fold down armrest in the middle with cup holders or anything like that. 3 larger size adults might struggle to get in here, but it's comfortable enough. We've got seat pocket in one seat, not both of them. It's okay. Alright, in the back, let's check out the load space. There's actually quite a bit of space in the back here. Got that tray which comes out quite easily. Unclip it there, unclip it there, and pull it out. Now this is quite ingenious, the storage. You've got this here, but you can hide things away quite nicely in there, and while you're doing so, you can slot it in so it stays up there. You got your hands free to store whatever you need to in there. But if you need a bit more storage, you can just drop it down there, and it drops down quite low to give you more space. So it's quite an ingenious little thing, but I love the security feature of being able to hide things under it. And then set it up, and you've got your space saver spare wheel in there. Handy little storage compartments on each side, and you can take those off if you need the space, but little storage compartments there to sit loose things in. Very, very convenient. And of course, the seats fold down. Give you a hell of a lot more storage, about 710 litres I think all up it gives you with the seats down. Good storage space in here, really, really good. Some cars, the seating positions can be a little tricky to get. This one I found quite easy to get the right position, so no matter how you sit, you can get what you need. For example, why would you sit like this? Some people do. Don't sit like this, people. Plenty of room for adjustment on this seat. Now I'm stuck. But yes, it's very easy to get it where you want it. And of course the steering wheel as well. Full adjustments on there. That's cool. But then get it back to where I want it. Very easy to get it exactly how you want it. Now the all-important water bottle test. The 2 cup holders here, it just fits in there. Just fits in there without closing it. And of course handy door pockets. Sits in there very nicely and comfortably. Cool. And the passenger side, of course, the door pocket. Take out the phone book sized magnet and it fits in the glove box quite well. And of course that one. Okay, in the back we've got a door pocket. It fits in there quite nicely. And we've got a pocket there only on this side, it doesn't have one over there. And it's, yeah, in the door, it's fine. And of course the boot. More than enough room. And these handy little side pockets, it'll even fit in there. And of course, in there. Hidden away so no one steals your water bottle. Look at that. Nice. Yes, Suzuki keep it pretty simple in here. It's not a lot to them. They have all your safety gear. They have your lane keep assist, which you can switch off here on the steering wheel, which is quite handy. It's not an intrusive system. It doesn't really annoy you. There's no jerking of the wheel, nothing major like that. So I can't imagine you'd want to turn it off. All it does is little vibrations through the wheel. You do feel a little tug. So that's a really cool system. It works really, really well. You got smart cruise control. It will slow down with cars in front of you and speed up and keep up with them. Full stop start system. It will tell you to put your foot on the brake if you come to a complete stop and hand control over to you. But it's good little system. As I mentioned earlier, it's very fuel efficient. We've got a trip computer here. We've got a display here, which is quite nice. Shows you using engine. You lift off the accelerator and brake, and we're charging the battery. Now the battery's showing 2 bars. It's usually showing 2 or 3. I haven't seen it go any higher than that in a couple of days we've had it. Press the button a couple of times. We've got a trip meter here, which tells us we're doing 6.3 litres per 100k. That is very efficient. Got a range of 171. I've done 421, so that's my math's not great. That's quite a good range on a 47 litre tank. But 6 litres per 100k is pretty good. It's only marginally better than the full petrol version. But through this trip computer here, we've got a lot of little gauges you can switch through. You even got a clock there if you wish to have it. Yeah, a little G sensor motion thing, and when you turn the car off after you've been on trip, it will show you how far it's been around that sensor, give you a little summary of how aggressively you've driven, I suppose. The little Suzuki gadgets here you've got, shows you when you're accelerating and braking. Just keep an eye on your efficiency, I guess. But yeah, it's inside the cabin here it's not, the sound from outside isn't too bad, but there's not a lot of sound deadening. You do hear a bit of road noise, you hear a bit of wind noise when you're on the open road, you hear cars going past and stuff. It's not super silent in here, but it's not bad where it's really intrusive and annoying. Certainly tolerable. Yeah, as typical with Suzuki's, they're not big cars. They're a small range of vehicles. This is one of their largest ones. Yeah, it's also not small. In fact, it is twice the size of a car, half its size. So it's not huge, but it's not tiny either. Very usable. Great little infotainment center here. You've got your audio controls. You can switch over to your Bluetooth streaming, media, USB, SD card even, all the radio stations. Press home button, you've got all these options here. You've got shortcuts here if you want to skip music. Your full navigation that warns you that don't use it if you're driving. Go home again, and you can connect. You got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Your phone, full phone connections with your phone book. Yeah, don't look at my personal phone numbers. Yeah, and fully customizable. You can change all sorts of things on here. Great little system, and they've got that on all the Suzukis. Yeah, I like it. Having multiple things. If you've got guidance on here, you can have that as well as your audio stuff. It's all there, easily visible. It's really cool to have. Okay, performance-wise, it's got a bit of power. It's a nice little sound from the engine when you put your foot down. Nice little roar from that 1.4 litre turbo booster jet engine, and it cruises great around town. Fantastic around town. Which is where most people will use them. And when you get out on the open road and hit the motorways like this, more than capable of keeping up the traffic, passing everything. The power's there if you want it, and it just smooth. It's not overly noisy. Cruise control works exceptionally well. You can cruise all day in this. We took it out of town yesterday, hour and a half out of town to visit my mother, and it drove all day very, very comfortably. 4 of us in here. We had enough room. Any more than that would be a bit of a squeeze. But you can certainly take this on a long enough road trip and be happy and comfortable enough. Very enjoyable. Does everything you want it to do, and nothing you don't. The lane guidance thing, I'll just drift over the line here. Tiny little tug on the steering wheel, barely even noticeable. Vibrates a little bit. That noise wasn't the vibrations, that was the line on the motorway. But just to let you know that you're drifting out of your lane. And it's got full stop start. You stop at the lights, the engine switches off to save your fuel. Extremely efficient. Extremely efficient. This little display is handy. It shows you how much accelerator you're using, and how much braking you're using, and how much force. Cool little system, but it doesn't work when you're on cruise control. Set the cruise control, and it doesn't show you that on the display. It would be cool if it did. But that's the display I prefer to look at and tell when you're using electricity or when you're saving it and charging the battery. So the Suzuki Vitara hybrid range starts off with the JX two-wheel drive manual at $39,990, all the way up to the JLX all-wheel drive two-tone at $45,790 plus on-road costs. This one we've tested as JLX two-wheel drive two-tone auto. That's $42,790. So 6 models in the entire range, so there's plenty to choose from. Great color variations, including this metallic ice grayish blue, the official name. Great little cars. There's a few little niggly things I'm not too happy with, but the price, yeah, makes up for it for sure, and the economy. So yeah, great little cars. Go and check one out now.